Can you guys hear me online? Okay, all right. All right. Let's get started here. Today, after my class, Lauren will be here for the reading. One of the things I would like to discuss with you guys is to talk to Lauren today, and you got to have a decision made for yourself about what is the order of reading passage you're going to do. So, for example, when I took the ACT, it was the um, natural science, social science, humanities, and prose fiction. That was the order. So when our reading time started, I directly went to the fourth passage, which is the natural sciences. That order must be decided today. Sounds good? Maybe you already have made the decision, but you got to practice that way. Sounds good? Um, that's the first thing. Next thing is, how many of you are taking the real test on 22nd? So one, two, three, all three here. Anybody online?
Yeah.
4, 5,
I am too.
6. All right. So, do you have anything to ask me? Of course, we have a little time, but I want to give this an opportunity. Anything you want to ask? Remember, though, the class is not completely done. All right. So we have classes till December 4th. But I believe for reading, we are done with 80 to 90%. Science, I would say around 70%. English, I would say around 60%. Math is around 60%. So I'm pretty well placed. I'm not, and this is what happens every year, by the way. It's no surprises. Actually, we are a little ahead in math, actually, than usual. So, do you have anything to ask me?
If I was gonna ask something, what would you say is what's the most important stuff to review? Day before the test, 2 days before the test. What do you think is the most important just to look over?
Okay, let's go through this one. So, ready? All right. The day before, that's Friday, I won't do anything other than math packet. And I would go to the bed maybe by 8:39. Turn off your phones. I'm okay if you listen to music. No TV, no social media, no chatting. This has been studied over the years. Hundreds and hundreds of years of study has gone into this, of being rested for the test. All competitive exams like ACTs, SATs, MCATs, engineering exams when we took in India, you have to be rested. I had a rule. I never used to sleep well the day before, but I has to be in bed. You'll be nervous. You should be nervous. Question is not too much, of course, to add a student who threw up during the test in ACT, December 2009. That's a little extreme, but boy, and I'm gonna put it on the GroupMe app of what you have to take, what's the list of things to take, what to eat. We recommend all these things because our students are very ambitious students. They want to do well. They're competitive students, so really want to make sure that you're prepared mentally. This is a mental game. That's on Friday. I know many of the students have activities on Friday evening, sports and stuff like that. If there's any way you can skip it, I would. I remember a student from Bishop Heelan years back. He was a quarterback for Heelan, and it was his last chance. It was December of his senior year, and I begged him not to take the ACT and not to play the game the Friday evening. I mean, he's like, no, I gotta play. This is important. Blah blah blah. And guess what happened? He broke his right hand. He needed 1 point for Harvard, and he missed it. Of course, he's a smart kid. He's successful now, but he had a choice. You have a choice. Life is all about choices. Thursday is important. The day before, 2 days before, Thursday, Wednesday, Tuesday, Monday, Sunday. Those days are crazy important, and I would be studying 2, 3 hours a day. So, First thing first, and I'm gonna discuss this because Garrett asked this question. Every individual has a weakness. Very rarely I've seen students with good in all four sections. Okay, very rarely. So my weakness was reading. So what I did was every day I did one test of reading the week before. So Thursday to Thursday before. I did one full practice test of reading. 35 minutes, time, boom. Put time, boom, done. Why? Because I want my muscle memory to kick in when the real test starts. Remember, the game day, you guys play sports, you know how it works, you'll be nervous. So you'll underperform than what you do at practice. Always. Even the genius, would say that. So when Usain Bolt ran the 100 meters, he used to run less than 9.54 seconds in his practice. But he couldn't do that in the real thing because that's how life is. Sounds good? Real and practice are two different things. But you try to evaluate as much of a real test day as possible. So my mom had a thing. Every Saturday, 8 a.m., you have to take a practice test, the full practice test. Did I like it? Hell no. Did I have a choice? Hell no. Did I do it? Yeah. Sometimes, first was I was very excited. Second was okay. Then I started hitting the 3, 4, 5 times. Then I started actually getting used to it. I don't know what's that syndrome called. You start liking it even though you initially hated it. So that I don't remember the syndrome, but that's what happened to me. I got used to it. I actually was waiting for it because I knew this is gonna be the turning point in my life. You got to look things that way. I'm glad somebody asked this question, to be honest, because I don't get asked this question. What do you do before the test? And I'm not saying that this will make you from a 30 to 36. Don't get me wrong. But this will give you a 30 to 32, which is 40 grand in scholarship difference, if that means something to you. So your desperation is important. Desperation not in just feelings, but desperation in action. You got to put in minimum 2 hours. How many seniors we have here? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you have 5 seniors. Damn, I would be busting my chops. I would have no life. That's what I would do. I don't expect you to do that. I would not have no life. I would study all the time because I want it. I'm not doing it for anybody else. There is a saying, I can't screw up because I don't have a backup. I am the backup. So it's a rap song I heard a few months back. So, but I think I like that song because it makes sense to me. I can't fail. I just don't. I don't have time to it. So you gotta put in the effort. You gotta put in the effort. Magic doesn't happen overnight. You make magic happen. Tessa, you have a question?
No, my hand's still, I don't know, it hasn't gone away since.
Okay. Garrett, does that help you?
Yeah, yeah.
And another thing is, I was talking about the reading as an example for my weakness. So what I did was, and I want to talk about that one week, Thursday to Thursday talking. So I did reading and math. Next day was reading and science. Next day was reading and English. But reading was the constant one. Then the next weakness was had the most contact. So I put in the effort, add a strategy to it. There was no randomness. Rule number 1 for success: no randomness, no surprises. You plan it and you do it. And funniest thing, I want to, Garrett, you specifically, I want you to listen to this. When let's say your weakness is science, okay? I would take the science, which is the last section, right? Right after coming from school, when you're the most tired and you don't want to do anything else. Right? That's what's going to happen in the real test. Am I? Am I right? Because that's going to happen, whether you like it or not. So you put yourself in a situation where you don't want to do it, but you still have to outperform your expectations. He put in the effort right there. And that's what I would do for reading. I took it on the weirdest times because I was tired. Because I wanted to see, can my mind concentrate? Can I have control on my mind? It was hard, let me tell you that. So Garrett, for science, that's what I would do, for example.
Yeah. All right. Thank you.
Don't get yourself don't make yourself comfortable. Life doesn't work that way. Put yourself in an uneasy situation, an uncomfortable situation. Things happen that day. That's where the growth happens. That's when we start building value to yourself. See, math was my strong suit, right? I was waiting for a day that math did, like, oh, give me, Till today, I'm like that. My son brings me a question. I want to do 10 more problems. I just love it. Do the same thing with reading. I come up with a damn reason to avoid it because it's how it is. Your body gets used to it. Your mind gets used to it. Anything else? You gotta ask these questions. I need this from you guys. The desperation is what I don't see nowadays. If somebody asks me what has happened in the COVID times, is the one word answer: desperation. I don't see desperation in these kids. Pre-pandemic, our students were like shit. They were like desperate. They are like 36, 35. They're not happy because they wanted the best for themselves. Everybody has a limit, right? Everybody has a limit. Question is, have you reached your limit? How do you know you have reached your limit? Think about this. And that's what you have to work for. Do not be satisfied with limits because that may not be your limit. And I see that difference in college, in New Horizon. I see that difference. What COVID has done is that element of desperation has gone away. Here, at the New Horizon Center, here, where you guys are, we used to have 25 students here, full jam packed, and used to be pin drop silence because they wanted it. And they knew this is the place that would happen. Anything else, guys? Anything else you want to ask? As I said, I don't get asked this question nowadays. Like pre-pandemic, trust me, this was like every fourth class we used to talk about this. Because motivation is key. Success is key. One thing I will definitely tell you, don't expect magic. You reap what you sow. Have you heard that saying, right? Nothing magical. Nothing magical. I work every Sunday. I know I do I want to be doing this on a Sunday I can spend time with family, 14 years I've been doing this. But I do this. That's a commitment. Is it easy? Hell no. I have a family with 2 kids. But I do it because that's a commitment. Last week I was in Oklahoma City. That was planned. I had a conference there. I had to go. Everything is planned. No ifs and buts, basically. No choice. Anything else? Any other questions? This is important. This is the most important lecture probably for the whole year because nobody has asked me this question. Thanks, Garrett.
Oh, I have a question.
Fantastic.
So, what, like the day of the test, like how early, like waking up, or like is it same thing with like cell phone, social media?
You know what? I'm gonna send this to you guys right now, and I'm gonna put this in the GroupMe app. Don't read it right now, but I have everything in that one actually. I have included everything in it, and you should read this. You should read it. And one of the key things in that one is about mask. Make sure you guys wear your mask because you don't know the rule that day. We had to have 2 of our students kicked out because they didn't have the mask. I don't know the new rule because it keeps changing. But Tessa, I would say and it says in the notes I just sent to you guys, you have to be there at the center by 7:30. Anything late, you're panicking. Your subconscious mind is a funny machine. You may think you're relaxed, but the subconscious mind, instead of circling B, you will circle C. 2 plus 3 becomes 6. Funniest thing is when you're running late, everything seems to have a red lights, right? When you're early, everything seems to have a green light. Life is like that. I'm way more experienced than you guys is. I can tell you one thing: if you're not on time, something always happens, and phone is your biggest enemy. Tessa, I want to give an example. Here you go. This is a great one, or not so great actually. I had a student from Kingsley, Iowa. I don't know if you heard about that place, small town, rural Iowa. I know her very well. She still works for New Horizon, and she was going to her testing center, which was like 50 minutes away from her school, her place. So very far, rural Iowa. So, and I told them, do not turn the phone on. You do not need your phones. Worst thing, what happened? She had the phone on, and her mom, which I still don't know why, messaged her saying that as she was reaching the center, hey, sorry to share with you, grandma just passed away. And that was her last chance taking ACT. Her score dropped by 3 points from her previous highest. And she was all bawling and all this thing. Question is, does she had to know that message at that time? No. You see how things happen? So many examples I can give you. Why do we recommend two calculators? Fiola Rose was one of my students who threw up, and I was taking December 2019. I told her to take two calculators. She took one. Question number 3 in math, her battery dies. Panic sets in, pukes. Goes to the hospital. Every time I meet her, I tell her that. Always carry two calculators. She's like, shut up, Manoj. No. Like, the point here is, you don't want to tempt your fate, right? That's one of the great sayings, right? You don't tempt your fate. You never know what's going to happen. It's all about preparedness. Question: ask yourself, do I really need to check my messages? Do I really need to be doing this? When your phone starts controlling you, and trust me, I'm worse than you sometimes. I need my phone for everything. My phone dies last week. My iPhone 12 dies. I thought the whole life is coming to an end. I went to Best Buy like 10 times to get my phone. I'm no exception. But when it comes to shove, I know when to turn it off. You with me on this? And I really mean this. I really do. Remember, this is not going to help you get a 32 or 36, but boy, this is going to give you the control you need, the mind control. Next question. I'm happy to answer this. This is most important, and I missed this part of the lecture for a long time, 4 years now, 3 years. It's usually like people don't want to communicate, people don't want to connect, but the basics have not changed. You with me, right? 2 plus 2 is still the 4. Doesn't matter whether it's pre-pandemic or post-pandemic. It doesn't change. When you go to college, your basics will help you graduate the college successfully. And you don't want to go to your professor and say, can I get some extra credit points? You don't need to be that person. You need to be the person who doesn't need those help because you have done your due diligence. Yeah.
Is it best to bring like just in all of the stuff that we need with the extra, or should we? So, for example, should I just bring what we know we need, like say like the 2 calculators, the extra writing utensils, or should we bring a lot of extra stuff as well?
That list is the minimum list. That's pretty comprehensive, but remember, for example, pencils, right? You need pencils. People take 1, 2, those mechanical pencils. No, you can't need 7, 8 pencils. If you don't have, I'll donate some. But you need pencils. You don't tempt fate. You just don't tempt fate. And we gave you erasers, right? Right? In the packet? There was a specific reason we researched for years to get to an eraser that actually works because it's a machine-fed system, right? The machine scans, and if it doesn't distinguish the color density, it's going to count it as wrong. That's why we found high polymer, I think that's the name, high polymer. And we actually tell students in college too, when they use the Scantrons, to use it because it works really good. We have tried like 7 different before we came to this. Everything in this program has been researched You can imagine this, right? 6,000 students, you would have ever seen it all. So, yeah.
This kind of goes along with that, but is it worth it to buy a stopwatch for the ACT?
Okay, so last, again, as I said, examples after examples galore. So I had twins from Dakota Valley High School, and they used to live in Dakota Dunes. They both bought new watch, and I told not smartwatch, like an analog, like old type. They bought that one from Walmart for $10 or something like that. Guess what happened? It had a preset alarm in it, and during the exam it started beeping for both of them at the same time. They were both disqualified. They were both taken out of the testing center, and guess what they were in? Science. And Charlie, I still remember his name, Charlie, he went to USC. He got 36 in English, but that score did not get contact, it was a disqualified score. He had a 36 in English. So, do you need a watch? Yes. Normal, simple watch. And that's what I do in the real practice test. In a practice test, when I would wear the watch because I'm getting used to this. Because you don't have a clock, it may be cold that day, for example. So you have in the instructions to wear a jacket. If it's hot, you can take the jacket off. Because that's what happens in the real day. In the break time, if you're hungry, you can't focus on reading and science. So we tell chocolate bar or a protein bar, banana and orange juice. You can see I still remember all my instructions because all our students pre-pandemic followed this instruction. During pandemic, and it's all over the place. I'm not happy with that. Our students have not followed this. Again, I'm not saying that's going to make a difference of 6 points, but 2 points, yes. It's all mind games. As I said, this is my favorite, best lecture so far the whole year, or in the last 3 years, to be honest. I miss this because students don't ask these questions. And this is just not for ACT or SAT. This is how you prepare for college, when you go to college. High school is, but college, you gotta have the mindset. It's all mindset. You take organic chem exam, you have 3-hour exam. You got to be at your best. You get 4 exams. You screw up one, you're out of your medical school. Simple. How many pre-meds do we have? Do you have any pre-meds? 1. There's only 1 pre-med. 2. MCAT is 7.5 hours exam. This is 3.5. That's double, more than double. Imagine how focused you should be there. Focus for 7.5 hours. You have a choice. Any other questions? Thoughts?
Is it worth taking the writing portion, in your opinion?
Yeah. Not for the first time, Nathan. If you're taking the ACT for the first time ever, I would not recommend it. But second time onwards, yes. And if you get 8 and higher, then you're done. It's called CRI, College Readiness Index.
If you are taking writing, is there anything else we should bring?
No. Anybody taking the October 22nd writing?
I think I am.
Okay, I'm going to send you a video. You must watch it, Garrett.
All right, thank you.
That video take care of everything. And that's our last class on December 4th is ACT writing, by the way. Okay? So I'm going to send it to you, Garrett. Yeah.
Is there any benefit to scratch paper for the math portion? Or
They will
should we
not
just-
give you scratch paper.
Just use the...
They will not give you any scratch paper.
Okay.
The scratch paper on the right side of the questions is the only scratch paper you get.
Right.
Yep. You won't get anything else. New batteries for calculators. If you're charging calculator, charge it completely. No surprises. No surprises. I'll take it for the next 2 minutes if you have any questions. But as I said, boy, this is my... Did I prepare for it? No, but this is the best lecture day for me. So, job satisfaction right now.
I have a question.
Yeah, Christian, go ahead.
So, when you're, get there, do you want to, choose, a certain spot to maybe sit in, or, is there anything important about that?
You go to center, there will be a name and room number where you'll be there. You go there, no talking. Don't hang out with your friends. You have no friends that day. During break time. Oh, how did the math go? What was question number 56? Nope. Have the hoodie on, no talking. Because
Okay.
it does not impact anything. It can only hurt in reading, right? Because you'll carry that question to reading. Subconscious mind. Not the conscious mind, subconscious mind. See, in this group, there's so much talent, and I'm just telling you honestly. I'm not trying to blow, trying to just fake this. I have students with 34s here in this group, by the way, already who have got a 34 in this group. So, 34, 33, 32 actually. So, they want to improve. The margin of error is so less, right? So, when you have in that situation, you got to be at your best, completely focused. And I'll tell you one more funniest thing. If you're not focused, you're going to start scoring less than what you got last time. Has it happened? Yes. Ashley was my student from South Sioux City High School. Got a 29 in October test, took the December test, got a 26 because day before she was playing video games at till 4 a.m. at her friend's place. And then she went to the testing center. Of course, she blamed us that the class didn't help. Funniest thing, she got 29 from a 24. At that time, I don't know who helped her, but whatever. I still remember her. I remember Miss Ashley. Great student, to be honest. Just had a bad day. Bad plans. Bad execution. So when you go down by more than 1 point, so if you had a 30 and you went to a 28 or below, that means you have contributed to it, not the test. You with me on this? If it's 1 point, then it can be the test. Not more than 1 point. Then it's you that didn't do the full justice to it. Yeah.
If you go down from your first test to your second test, do colleges like only care about your second test, or do they care about your highest score?
Well, nowadays they only do the super scores, so it doesn't even matter. They pick the highest from each one. Super scores.
Or like if your super score goes down, like you get like a 30.
Your super score will never go down because you're gonna be taking only the highest individual sections.
Wait, do you have to take all 4 sections like in the same test, or can you just take the ACT?
That'll be called an incomplete test. You will not be graded. We had a student who tried doing for reading. He showed up for reading test. He said too late. No, can't. You have to complete the test. You can get a 1 in each one if you want. Yeah.
Okay, so wait. I heard your explanation of this question earlier, but I didn't quite catch the answer. So if we got like a simple like small stopwatch, some kind, just
Not stopwatch.
sorry,
Watch.
just a normal watch.
Normal. Stopwatch is not allowed
Okay.
because it's gonna make sounds. I did check with this one.
Okay.
That when you're quiet, it makes that sound. It's not allowed. Any watch that makes noise, if you're eating gum, and if it's a disturbing, they'll ask you to throw spit it out, or if you continue doing it, you'll be disqualified. All these examples have happened. Nothing has surprised me now. Nothing will surprise me. I had a student who was 8 of my students were accused of cheating, and they didn't. I know that, but their scores were withheld and cancelled. 8 in 14 years.
So an electronic watch of some kind.
Yeah, simple analog, simple watch. No smartwatch. Anything else?
How much time do you think we should have at like the end of a test? So like, how much time should we give ourselves at the end of a test to go back and look?
Okay, that's a good one. Let me tell you. So Nathan, what's your target score? Be honest.
Like a 33.
Okay, let's go with 33. So for him to get a 33, so he can lose 3 points, right? 36, 35, 34. So on an average, 1 point comes out to 2 questions. That's average, okay? Simple. So 6 questions out of the 215 questions. So he is looking at 209 out of 215. Right? Quick calculation. Every test is different. So that means For English, you should be left with 5 minutes because English is where you bank the most points. So if you're done with 75 questions at 40 minutes and one or two you're not sure, you have 5 good, healthy minutes or even 3 good, healthy minutes to go and work on it. Math, our students who have scored 35, 36s have done between 52 and 56 minutes with average of 4 minutes spared for math. If you get to 59, 58 minutes, then you have no time to go back. Reading and science, 1 minute each. And you'll have usually 2 questions to go back. That's what you'll be left with. Yes, has it happened where a science was easy? Yes, where we had students complete at 30 minutes and they had full 5 minutes. Very rarely happens though. Reading, I've never heard anybody done with more than 3 minutes. Yeah, you can finish the test, but are you comfortable with what you have done is the question. It's not just, but I would say, Nathan, does that make sense to you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what am I expecting from this group? Not October or December or combine both, okay? At least 3 students getting a perfect 36 in English. Okay? I'm being honest here. 3, and I know who I've thought about this very well. 1 or maybe 2 in perfect 36 in math. More towards 1. Okay. Reading 1 or 2. Science 3. That's what for the perfect scores I'm looking at. That's how good of a talent group we have. This is a smart group. This is a very good group I have. That's why I love teaching this class. And you guys ask good questions. And I think you have a good future. I really think. Question is, the one thing I've not seen in all of you is the desperation. That's something, it's hard, especially for online students, it's hard for me to judge that. But boy, when people are desperate, I can sense it. You gotta have that desperation. The magic of desperation is amazing. When you want it, oh boy, you want to give it everything. When I came to the United States, the only thing I thought about was coming to the United States. I used to sleep 2-3 hours a day. That's it for engineering, because I had to finish my engineering and prepare for GRE, GRE exam for masters. So I had to finish that, have lunch, dinner, or whatever it is, then start preparing for that one. It was to be 2 a.m. every day. 6 a.m. I used to get up, get ready for college. Had no life. If you have a life during that time, you not have a life when you really need to. You decide when you want to have a life, right? Now or later. Later you have a lot more time. Now you 4 years. This is the facts. This is the fact. Good. Anything else? Okay. All right. Go to my last math notes, please. I'm going to give you guys 2 minutes to review it. Excuse me. The last thing we did was radiance, right? Radiance. Am I right? Okay. Am I expecting a question or 2 in October test? Yeah, I can guarantee that one, as I know that. Now go to page 15 of the math packet. Page 15 of the math packet. Equation C.
You said page 8?
15.
15.
Equation C. One of the very important equations you're going to carry to college. Difference of squares. Simple but powerful. Is there any student who have not seen that? I hope not, but you can tell me that. Anybody? Okay, let me ask a simple math question. Let's see your basics, okay? What is the process called from in this direction? Going from here to here is called, there's a name up for the operation. What is this process called? FOIL, good. You've heard this, right? What is this process called?
Factoring.
Good. Factoring. So factorization and FOIL are two opposite operations. This is also called distribution, by the way, so it doesn't matter, okay? So let's go, question number 1. Let's make it, this will be in the first 10 questions, x squared minus 64. Let's keep it going. Tell me the answers.
X plus a, x minus a.
Okay. So it's a difference of squares. It's okay. Difference is important. It's a binomial. Okay. Two terms. Binomial. Next. 8x squared minus 200. The question will be factorize.
Do we say our name when we're done?
Sorry?
Do we say our name when we're done?
Tell me the name so that I know who it is.
Poor.
Or thumbs up or whatever it is. Yeah. All right. Anybody else?
I've got it.
All right. So 8x squared minus 200, either one of these terms are perfect squares, right? They're not perfect squares. But if I factorize 8 out, I get x squared minus 25. So 8 times x plus 5 times x minus 5. Make sense? So you can convert a non-perfect square system to a difference of squares using factorization. So this will be in the first 10, this will be around 30-ish, this will be around 50-ish. Factorize x raised to 6 minus y raised to 8.
Poor.
Nathan.
Open page 10 of the math packet, everybody. Page 10 of the math packet. There is a formula, very important, a raised to m raised to n is equal to a raised to m times n. Do you see that? So when you do the difference of squares, the key term is the 2 here. So what I'm going to do here is convert this to a perfect square. A squared, 3 times 2 is 6, minus y raised to 4 raised to 2. So a squared minus b squared is a plus b, a minus b. How many got this? 1,
I did.
2, 3, 4. This is an important one. Questions? Question number 4. Factorize x squared plus 64, and there are two possible answers. There's two possible answers. This is an interesting one. So, and both were in the ACT. So I need two different types of answers. Anybody? Okay, 1, 2. I would like to hear your answers in this one. Let's go.
I said x plus AI times x minus AI.
That's absolutely correct. That's one of the answers. That was question number 56 in the ACT. This was a real test. Any other? How about the other one? It was in the first 10 questions actually. Same question, but it is in the first 10. What you answered, which is correct, was in the 56. I think it was 56 or 59. Now I'm not sure.
I got x plus 8 whole squared minus 16x.
Okay. But that was not how they presented the answer. What is a number what is the math term for a number that can be factorized? General term for a number that is factorizable.
That is or is not?
That is. You studied this in what, second, third grade? It starts with C. What are two types of numbers you have studied in elementary school?
Prime and then
What's that?
isn't it
Question?
constant?
Composite.
Okay, good. Prime and composite numbers, right? Do you remember that? Please, even if you don't know, just say I know it. Just fake it for me, because you got to know this. So prime and composite numbers, right? So when you can factorize, is it prime or composite? When I can factorize something, composite. This is not a factorizable because this is a positive binomial. So the answer was actually they wrote it as prime. You cannot factorize this. Sounds good? You can factorize difference of squares with a negative. This you can't. Or what Soren did was he converted a positive binomial to a negative binomial using this. How many of you know I squared is -1? Everybody knows I squared is -1? Garrett test? Okay, everybody. Okay, good. So I'm converting a positive binomial to a negative binomial using this. So x plus 8i times x minus 8i. Make sense? So if you're looking for 36, you need to know both. All right? Margin of error is very, very slow, very small. You guys got this, right? Okay. Factorize. This is question number 60 in ACT. Last question in the ACT. Factorize a raised to 16 minus 16. Go. Anybody, how many have the answers? Just tell me your name. 1, 2, here, okay. 3.
Kabir.
Okay, let me ask you this question. How many are confident you're correct? 1. Okay.
Feels like a trick question.
It's a question number 60. So has to have something to it, right?
No.
No? Okay, 1, 2, 3. Anaika, tell me your answer.
I actually kind of got two answers for this. My first one is a to the 8th power minus 4 plus or times a to the 8th power plus 4, and the other one is I like divided the a to the 8th power minus 4, and I did a to the 4th power minus 2 and then plus 2.
Okay, slow down. What did you say was your second answer?
So it's a to the 4th power minus 2 times a to the 4th power plus 2 times a to the 8th power plus 4.
Bingo, you're correct. How many had that answer? 1, 2. That's the answer. Good. See, now I see my prediction of a 36 is not that. I'm very careful when I predict. Let's see. So a raised to 8 square minus 4 square, a raised to 8 plus 4, a raised to 8 minus 4. And many of the students wrote this answer. Of course, nothing wrong with this, but this is not completely factorized. A raised to 8 plus 4, then a raised to 4 square minus 2 square. Anak, I hope you did this method. Anything else may not be the right method, okay? And why am I stopping here? Because 2 is not a perfect square. Yes?
So will they have?
We have both answers.
Both answers on the test.
Of
Yeah,
course,
okay.
it's question number 60. They don't want you to get a 36. Soren, that's the whole point. You gotta be careful. That's where your sleep matters. If you're rested, you're able to think through it. Just be careful with the last 10. Even if you get it, just check. Maybe take 2-3 seconds extra. This is answer A. This is answer E. 99.2% of the students picked this answer. Who got correct, was only 0.8%. Not that they didn't know it, or maybe they didn't know what. Yeah. This is good. This is good. Right there will be a difference between a 35 and a 36. Right there.
I see what it was now, because you could keep factoring the a to the eighth.
Because
minus
4 is a perfect square. Yeah. Awareness. It's all about awareness.
I got a question.
Yeah.
If 16 was a larger number, would you have to keep factoring it until it was done? Because 2 is.
So, Garrett, I can't hear you properly. What did you say?
If the number, like at the end, like if it wasn't 2, would you have to keep factoring?
No. You got to factorize till you hit a perfect, non-perfect square. This was a by negative difference of squares, with 4 being a perfect square, this being a perfect square. But I can continue with this one because 2 is not a perfect square.
Okay.
So some students try to do square root 2 squared. No, that doesn't work. You can't get radicals into perfect difference of squares. Then there is no end to it. Make sense? Yeah, this is a classy one. And that's why I'm trying to push you guys. As I said, every semester when I teach this class, I observe the group, okay? How they are as a group. When the group is good, we push you guys to different limits, Like, for example, when I get to probability and statistics, I'll be coming with more difficult questions. So when we teach you at the difficult level, that's a good sign that you guys as a group are doing well, okay? So next we'll continue with imaginary numbers for next week, okay? I was planning to finish it today, but it will take me 15 minutes to finish that one. But there's a lot to it, okay? There's a lot more to the thing. I still have to teach the logs, powers and exponents, conic sections. There's still material left, but I'm very well placed. Make sense? So anyway, I post these videos, in the GroupMe app. So I hope you can, if you think about what we discussed in the first 30 minutes. As I said, that's more important than this. This is easy. Anybody can learn from this in 15 minutes. The first 30 minutes is just too important. And also, as I talked to you about reading with Lauren, so talk to her about it, about the order of the passages. But again, say one thing, I'm going to leave you guys with this. If you're not desperate, don't expect magic to happen. Okay? I'll see you guys next week. If you have any questions, either text me or ask me next week. I'm going to open with the same discussion. Bye-bye, guys.